been trained to be a leader.
Right.
But the things that were happening to him throughout his life were preparing him to lead the children of Israel out of Egypt.
Amen. That was very good. So some leaders are trained, and I believe sometimes they are not aware that they have leadership traits, and they are cultivated, and they are trained. They go to school, and that schooling is based on leadership. Some things in there that they can bring out that you're not even aware of. The reason why I say that, I'll think about Joshua. How Joshua stayed close to Moses. And he learned a lot just being with Moses and being around people, you know, being groomed, right. I never thought the day would come when I would be in a leadership capacity, a leadership role, till I went in the military. And when I went in the military, there were some things that they gave me responsible for, like standing on the watch. There were 11 general orders everybody had to know when you stand on the watch. And the watch, I think it was 2 hours. 2 hours, I'm thinking. But I know once I got out and got aboard ship, it was 4 hours. I'm thinking it was 2 hours. But anyway, the watch consisted of being in the barracks. They call it a fire watch. Make sure no fires break out. And then they had one where you stood watch in the patio. That's down where everybody hang their clothes up. Downstairs out there, everything is pavement outside. And they got a guy that come around, they call him the roving patrol. He approach you. And when he approach you, there's something you got to say. You got to say, halt, who's there? Advance to be recognized. And then you recognize who he is. You recognize him. And then he'll say, what's your 11th general order? Or what's your 3rd general order? He just picked one he want to choose, you know. And you got to know them. I mean, you got to, I learned all of them. That's what I'm saying. I never thought that I would be able to do something like that. I mean, I taught myself. Right. I had nobody to say them to me. I would just read them all, and I would just continue to go until I learned all of them. And he asked me my 11th general order. That's been many years ago. I don't even know how I go now. Yeah.
Sometimes a situation demands for a leader.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you take Martin Luther King, for instance.
Right.
The whole climax, the whole era demand for a leader to rise.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, I think you could be groomed for leadership fully unaware.
Unaware, right.
Fully unaware, because you don't know what's going to happen 20 years down the road.
Right.
You don't know. You don't know there's going to be a Joplin,
right,
hurricane or a tornado,
right,
and you don't know what qualities God going to use. But I think you can be born. There are leaders that are born.
Right.
Paul said,
I didn't know I was being prepared. I didn't know I was being prepared right then for that leadership position.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was thinking that when I said that I thought that some leaders were born leaders, I was thinking of people when have more than one child, and you can see in that one child that always take the lead.
Right.
I think so. You know, you see these qualities in that person. They're always the one.
But isn't that a different type of leader? Because man looks on the outward appearance, and God looks on the heart.
That's true.
We see these leadership qualities as it relates to what we perceive a leader should be. But then there's times that arise where you need a leader that doesn't, Jesse, David. Out of all his sons, he had sons that betrayed leadership quality. But the one who's least likely to have it, when the time came to kill Goliath, was David. So I agree with you on that some people do automatically display qualities, and they have their season, I guess. There's a season for them, and I guess there's a natural leader and a godly leader.
Right.
A leader that's been appointed by God to lead his people. I think there's a different dynamic there.
Okay.
Because the Lord knows the heart.
Right.
Because man is looking on the outside. Man chooses a leader. Most of the time they're going to get somebody that's a strong person. They think is strong.
That's right.
Able to make qualified.
That's right.
I always say if I was going to battle, I want Peyton Manning to be my captain. Because he seemed like he could take charge and get the job done. He's just that kind of person. You can see how he does on the football field. But yet, the Lord looks on the heart. Now, he knows the man that is going to seek him. And that person might be just looking at them. They may be the shortest person. They might be the smallest or the weakest physically. But God knows that person is going to depend on him.
Right.
Because he doesn't look as man. He doesn't see as man sees. He sees that heart. And that's, God chooses a man according to his heart. The one that's going to look to him.
Jesus prepares for leadership. You see some of the things that he went through. I'm thinking from the time he came to the Jordan River to be baptized by John, he was led of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tested, to be tried by Satan. He passed his test. After he passed his test, as he walked along the shores of the Sea of Galilee, he began to call out various ones. They call them disciples or learners. Look, he chose 12, and they was with him 3 years, being taught, being prepared to take charge, to take over after he left, because he only had 3 years. And you notice before he departed, before he ascended, after he had finished his work, when he was resurrected, he stayed on the earth 40 days, and he led him out as far as Bethany. And while he was conversing with them, a cloud received him out of the sight. But before he was received up, he said, go back to Jerusalem in the upper room, and you tarry there until you be endowed with power from on high. In other words, you're going to need some power to pick up where I left off, to preach the gospel to every creature. So he had already prepared, made these ready.
I'm going to back up. He was tested of the devil.
Right, tried and tested.
Tried and tested before he really got into his assignment.
Right.
Does that mean we going to be tested in some fashion or form where we have to overcome the enemy?
Oh, yes.
Or we can say, I'm annoying.
That's not the end, though. That's not the end. That's you test you to a certain point, but your testing is going to go all the way till you draw your last breath.
Okay.
Now, you notice that Jesus, he said he was tempted in all points, yet without sin. So we see that being demonstrated in the Garden of Eden. The lust of the flesh, the lust of the eye, and the pride of life. Those are the three things the devil used on Jesus in the mountain when he was tried. But he passed them all. And the devil used the same three today on us. Even though we are in leadership capacity, we are leaders, and yet still we were being tried